And one fish, two fish. And one fish, two fish.
And red fish, blue fish.
And one fish, two fish.
And red fish, blue fish.
And one fish,
That's right,
two
fish.
fish.
And red fish, blue fish.
And one fish,
That's right,
two
fish.
Okay.
And red fish, blue.
So that's sounding fine. How are you sounding, YouTube? I think YouTube was good. Oh my gosh. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Somebody left too much stuff open. We can fix that. Did I close other stuff? I have anything else open that shouldn't be open? Nope, I think we're good. All right, let's check the YouTube. And I'm going to work a little bit on texturing the 80s Valley outfit and maybe a little bit on a little holiday vignette. I'll use as a background for Daz Christmas pinups or something like that. Is that anything like when I say someone ate all my chips? What is that? Speaking of chips and fish, I recently heard that there was a restaurant in California that when you ordered fish and chips, you didn't necessarily get the chips, much to some people's surprise. Someone left. Oh, someone left too much. Yeah, someone left. I always leave too much stuff open. That's my problem. Oh, I'm checking the YouTube. That's right. Are you my YouTube? Are you my YouTube? Are you my YouTube? That's my YouTube. All right, YouTube has sound. We're good. We're gonna put you over there. My YouTube. That's my YouTube. All right, YouTube has
Yeah, I
sound.
still
We're
have that
good.
chinchilla up in the corner there, don't I?
We're gonna put you over there. My YouTube. That's my
Oops.
YouTube. All right, YouTube has
Yeah, I
sound.
still
We're
have that
good.
chinchilla up in the corner there, don't I? Forgot to mute the YouTube. YouTube is muted. We're gonna take a look at where I am with this. Yo, Farrell, how are you doing? Everything is fine. I can hear everything. Excellent. Here, I'm going to stick this over here for just a second. Ah, that's fine. We might have been testing something for Loki yesterday. It's fine. It's fine. It's all good. Here's the 80s outfit. You know what? Let's get a we'll stick it on the Genesis 8. I'm going to work on a little bit on textures on this. I have these snowflakes set up as a channel point redemption in Twitch. I think Snowfall, I don't know, what did I call it? Boink. Snowfall for 500 channel points. You all should have like billions of channel points at this point. Oh, sorry, Daz is still thinking. I can't do nothing. You know what? I'm just going ahead and activate that though. Can I not redeem? Oh, it's got a cooldown. It'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, fine. Oh, there it is. Loki redeemed it. There's the snowfall. What does that button do? That was what I was working on last week. Last time we were in Blender, I was playing with the snowflakes falling in Blender and managed to get it to work as a channel point redeem now. And there's a little bit of a cooldown on it, obviously a couple of minutes at least. I want to add some music to that, so that'll be active throughout the holidays. We should figure out some other stuff we can do. Drop some wreaths, Chris. I don't know. Let's try this. Let's come over here. Where am I? Wardrobe. We have the shoes. I finished up all the textures for the shoes, so we'll probably do some map files for that. I have the pose. I'm going to resave the shoes with the pose. We'll do that. Actually, let's get the texture on here. Then I can resave the shoes with the pose. Then we can resave the pose as an H pose. So we're going to do that. And currently have grandma married. Yeah. Oh, actually, we could have Marjorie Taylor Greene run over by Trump in a sled. I think Rod would appreciate that. I was thinking how much Rod was going to appreciate that his second favorite person has gotten thrown under the bus by his first favorite person. Low hanging fruit. Definitely. I don't want to reach too hard. You know, my arm isn't quite what it used to be. Anyhow, here's how the outfit's coming along. Vixen dresses live at Daz. Yeah. I I'm fingers crossed. Hopefully, we'll have two releases next week. We'll see how that works out. Please hold all the excitement. Um. Anyhow, let me put a texture on here. The leg warmers need to be adjusted to fit the shoes a little bit better. Only 6 sales. I'm sorry, dude. Dang. Is it also getting other sales from the rest of the store though? I'm not gonna. So I'm gonna give credits due. Daz is really good at running sales, at least from my point of view. And I actually kind of like that. I don't have to go in there and manage sales. Daz does it for you, and back catalog just keeps cranking sales out. Brenda Rossi, on the other hand, makes you go in there once a month and figure out which products in the absolutely most it is almost brutal. You have to go through there, you select your products. You don't know how many you've selected when you get in for a sale. Compared to your actual week, which was broken, and you made 30 more sales just to match that. Yeah, anyhow, let me put the textures on these. I'm gonna resave off the shoes. Maybe I'll touch up the this. Right now, I have the leggings, the leg warmers, the cuffs, and the shirt all in one part, but those are going to be broken out into separate parts eventually. Layer teeth sold 36 out in first, despite the Borch release. I'm going to do this. Where am I? 80s Valley Gal outfit. Let's come over here. Let's go down in the runtime. Let's go to textures, me, 80s Valley outfit, and the heels. 6 sales so far with a grid release. That is running a little on the slow side, isn't it? Sometimes I'm just not sure what really sells at Daz. I am surprised. I thought my waitress outfit would be a lot. It does. I mean, my stuff does okay. Um, but the MVP waitress outfit didn't sell quite as well as I thought. And then the news reporter outfit sold really well. So I I have I my sense of what's going to sell at Daz isn't particularly sharp. Um, Although the simple bathing suits don't do really well, but sometimes my brain just needs a break. Although I did have that one sci-fi suit that did really well. Oh, that was like a discount. It was one of those things where you buy a new thing and get super discounts. I think that's what drove that one. So that's one of those kudos to Daz for managing sales fairly well. They do know what they're doing. That might just be Steve. I'm not sure who manages those. You just confuse all say class sales, but your character sold 100, 150 copies per release. Really? The clothes market is kind of, there's an awful lot of us in the clothes market right now.
I like to think I get sales because I have things that help differentiate. I'm going to the shaders. Surfaces, that's where we're going. Leg warmers. I don't want leg warmers. I want my shoes. Let's make sure we have the generic shader turned on. There we go. Let's come over here. I'm going to drop that into there. And metallicity goes over here. Normal. It also depends on how many, another thing that really impacts sales is how many other items are being sold and how many other clothing items the same day you release. That makes a big difference. But you probably already kind of could figure that out. You are my roughness. You go over here. You are my height map. You're going to go over here. I'm going to come over here. So those are going to be the default shoes. You got an idea for April Fool's ass that the Emperor has no clothes. Where it's the skin has no clothes. Tattooed strategically. The Emperor has no clothes skin set. Is that it? I'm going to do a quick render just to see how the shoes are looking. I'm pretty sure these look okay. I got to tweak that foot pose a little bit. Or I got to read. Yeah, that foot pose is off just a hair. Let's do a little bit of tweaking on the shoes before I save it out. Also, I probably should do the rigging on this since we're here. Cleverly pasted word tattoos that state no clothes. I kind of like that. Do I still have AD seals? I'm gonna update that with the current version. Is my pose right? Let's just double check that. So you should actually be 40. There we go. That's part of my problem right there. Yo, Charles, thank you for that resub. Oh yeah, and Loki, thank you for that resub too. There's the good old dyslexic heart. Here's the shout out for Mr. CS Bond. Let's switch you to 40. That's the one. That's what the foot pose for this should be. Let's resave this foot pose. And actually, I'm going to save that as a hierarchical pose preset. So we'll do that. Boom. Hierarchical pose preset. Actually, I'm going to take the clothes off. Then I'm going to reset with just the shoes. And so let's do that. Take that and that. And I'm going to delete those. And then I'm going to select this. And we're going to come over here and choose hierarchical pose preset. I'm going to overwrite that. Say, yeah, yes. Exists. Yeah, I know. Okay, we're not using anything from there. Oh, I remember how to do this. there's a clever way to do these. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to select the foot through here. I don't need those. Now we're going to save that hierarchical pose preset. Like that. Overwrite that. Say save. Say yes. Okay, we're not going to, and actually what we do is we right click and we'll check only scene selected only. There we go. And this way it's only saving the feet parts because we have them selected over here already. Boom, it's done. Well, not done yet. So now if you have the shoes or the figure selected, it will apply the pose. That's the way Daz likes to have it done. I don't actually like to do it that way. I like to just have it posed here because I like to be able to select the shoes and just pose them without the figure. But now H poses won't work with that. If I don't have this on a figure, that won't pose the shoes.
Okay, so now I'm going to save the shoes. Control, actually, let's check my rigging. I'm going to change the color on that for just a second. And we'll put the color back on before we shave it. Shave it, save it. Yeah, I'm just going to put this generic. Are you not working? It's because you're not selected in the scene. That's right. I have the wrong thing selected. I always forget about that. All right, let's check our... You know what? That looks okay. I don't think I have to touch that up. Or do I? Am I getting a little bit of clipping? I think it's clipping right there in the heel. Let's see if we can just fix that with weight maps. And let's make sure we're doing this symmetrically so I don't have to do the other side. And let's come over to... We'll expand that. We'll come down to the left foot. And we'll take a look at these weight maps. And I'll see if I can just... I don't know, do I have to just touch that up like so? A little bit. And then we'll smooth that out. And then I'm going to touch that up. I'm going to dial that strength back. And I'm going to adjust this so it's a little bigger. I have to adjust this for the painting and the smoothing. Hopefully I don't have to add any JCMs to this, but you never know. I might have to. I'll probably won't do that on stream today. I'll probably do that later if I have to. All right, that's pretty good. And then we can just kind of smooth you out a little bit. So that's that. Let's go back to this. And now if I go the other way, you know, that's still looking okay. And that heel is looking okay, so I'm happy with that. BRB. All right, see you when you get back, boy. Brother, my dude. I'm sorry. Um, all right, let's take a look at the metatarsal. Actually, let me twist and shout. I think that's looking fine. And then if we twist you at the extremes, yeah, that's probably good. We'll reset you. We'll play with the metatarsus now. All right, we're going to tweak that a little bit so that that doesn't get so janky. Let's pop over here. Actually, I have to come over the weight paint, select that. I'm on the wrong figure. Come over here, make sure that is still selected, and I think I'm just going to try smoothing it out first. And then now we'll weight paint. And am I pulling the weight off of that? I think I'm going to take the weight off of that. So what is that? The Alt key, Control key, Alt key. Yeah, I'm going to take the strength up a little bit on that. You might, oh, I'm sorry. I got critical update from Dell to fix the last Windows update. Oh no. Oh no. Even your Wi-Fi password. Jesus Christ. That wacky Windows. All right, let's try control. Let's go back over to here. So if I control E that, I mean, not that you should be really moving that metatarsal that much. All right, I'm going to tweak this a little bit further. In here, I think we'll just maybe, where am I at? I think that's a little better. I think we'll pull a little bit more out of that. And we'll smooth that back out. I think that's going to be good for the metatarsals. I don't know. All right, back over to here. We'll double check the twisting and the shouting. Oh, actually, I don't. I only get a twist. I want to smooth that just a little bit more, I think. It's probably going to be fine on that one. All right, let's check the toes. And also I'm going to rig this so there are no toes in the shoes themselves. So we're going to smooth that out. Although, let's be real, you should never bend your shoes like that and complain. If you do, that's totally on you. I'm still going to smooth it out a little bit. All right. And I know it's popping through. I'm just going to, I'm going to put a note. Don't bend your toes from, these are only designed to work from here to here or something. Honestly, you should never bend a high heel toe. Which direction is it? Is that negative or positive? Yeah, you should never bend them down in the positive direction. They should always start right about in there and then go the other way. And actually, so I'm going to smooth that out just a little bit. It should look good with this. So if I can't get this to look good, we'll probably have to make a yada yada, a JCM for that. I'm getting the liner popping through, so we're going to fix that. And then here, we're actually getting the foot showing through. So I don't know. We might put a JCM on that. There's probably a JCM kicking in too, which may not. Let's take a look, see if we can spot any. We'll say currently used. See right in there. That's a JCM toe up R. That's coming from the other toe. Foot down R. That's coming from the other foot. So this is the one that's being triggered. So if I clean up the JCM, I'll probably swap that out. And then I have to do it for the other side. Anyhow, let's see if we can actually touch this up with just weight maps. I don't think so. I think I'm going to actually have to JCM that. I probably want to do that with Blender. So actually, let me see if I dial this back over here. If that actually becomes a 0, I mean it does help a little bit. Okay, let's reset the pose. I'm going to get rid of the toes. We're going to set the textures back up. I'm going to set this out. And things to do is I got to add a JCM to fix that. So that's on the list of fun things to do. Dum, dum, dum. You know, that whole thing looks a little off, though. Is that the same way on the other side? I think maybe if I re-update the mesh, I probably janked something up. So here, let's do this. We're going to re-update the shape of this. I got to put this leg back down. Nope. This leg has to side to side back the other way. -6 on that and 6 on this. I'm just going to double check and make sure my shoes are in the right spot. So we're going to import the heels, not those ones, these ones. I'm just making sure that it's the right. I might have to tweak that heel a little bit in Blender. You look like you're off just a hair. No, you're probably in the right spot. Okay. I'm going to load this in as a morph target. We're going to dial that up. We're going to 0 the pose. We're going to export that out. Re-bring it back in as an updated geometry. That's the idea. Okay. So bring you back. Select this. Delete that. Select the shoes. Import in that shape again. We'll use Morphloader Pro. And that was just not that one, but this one. So I'm going to accept that. And then over here, okay, so I'm going to, oh no, my scaling was off. Let's do that again. There we go. That's what it's supposed to do. Control Shift F. Select the shoes. I don't think I'm using, I am still at base, so I haven't done anything funny with that because these are a little high density already. We're going to overwrite this one here that says O2. Say yes to that. Accept that. So now we'll take the shoes and we reset it back to this shape. And then we'll update the shape. Hey, hey, Willie, how you doing? We're just going to update the base vertex positions. With that, say accept. Set you back to 10,000. Actually, yeah. Set you back to 10, 1, 2, 3, 10,000. Accept that. And now let's reset this and see how I'm looking. Okay, so that's smoothed out. Let's see how the toes are looking now. So I'm getting a little bit of clipping right there. Let's see if that can just be touched up a little bit with the weight map. Or we'll just pop a JCM on that. Where am I? Where am I? Tool settings. That's right. Is that doing anything? Nope. If we do it the other way. Nope. If we smooth. Not really. All right. I'm going to do a JCM on that. For that, we're going to export this out. I'm going to do this in Blender. I think. Actually, do I want to be bold and do this with ZBrush? I'll try ZBrush. I normally do JCMs with Blender, but let's try ZBrush. So what we need to do is we need to get the name of that JCM that's actually triggered right now. We're going to update that with what we're going to fix it with. So currently used over here. This is the one right here we're looking at. So I'm going to just pop that open real quick so I can come in here and copy the name. And then we'll activate. So the order, I'm going to select the shoes first. Then we select Genesis 8. Then I activate GoZ. And we'll accept that. And now we wait for a minute for ZBrush to launch. All right. Get our figure in here. Zoom in a little bit. Hit edit. Go into frame. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to change the size of my brush. Okay, let's adjust our intensity. I'm probably not going to do smoothing, but I'm going to adjust that anyhow, just in case. And then we'll just kind of, can I just pull you out a little bit like that? You know what? That's actually doing the trick. I'm going to try a stupid dash trick in a little bit here. That could probably be a little smoother. I'm not going to touch that though. All right, let's hit Go Z. Let's put the name of our JCM right there. We're going to overwrite the existing one with what we just touched up. I'm going to hit accept on that. And there we go. I think that does the trick. And I don't have to actually set up a JCM because we're just adjusting a pre-existing one, which should have a limit on it already. So let's recheck the toe. Probably good. Let's check a little bit of twisting on that. Do I not have? I can come over here. Yeah, you don't get side to side on toes, but you do get twists. So I think that's mostly good. So I need one for the right side as well. So here's where I'm going to try to do a stupid Daz trick. I think I'm happy with that. So I'm going to export this shape out. Actually, we're going to activate that morph as much as possible. And I'm going to export this shape out as the right side. So let's get a copy of that name. So over here, currently used. So this is toes up 60L, and that's at 100%. So what I want is this name right here, toes up 60R. You know what? I can just type in the R myself. So here we're going to export the shoe with that morph on. Control V, but we're going to say R on that. And I'm going to put you right there. And we're going to accept that. Now I'm going to just swap the pose over to the other side. So select that, Shift Y, swap left and right, say okay to that. Then I'm going to come over here, and this should be clipping just a little bit like what we had before, right? So now we're going to load in that JCM for this side here. And there's an option in the morphs where we can flip a morph. At least that's what I'm going to try to do. If that doesn't work, we just pop into ZBrush and fix it there. But I'm trying to be clever. Choose morph file. That one right there. And now we're going to open up these options. We're going to come down here to morph mirroring. I'm going to right click on none and change that to an X swap. And I'm going to put that over there so we can hopefully see that change when I accept it. No, because I have the wrong thing selected. So, doy. You have to have the shoe selected. That happens about 25% of the time. All right, do the same thing. Come over here. Swap on the X. All right, we're watching this spot right here. There we go. And I didn't have to touch that up in ZBrush again. I could just reuse the other one. All right, so I think I'm good. I think my rigging is nice on these shoes, hopefully. I'm going to reset the pose. I'm going to resave this as a figure prop asset. Then we're going to resave it as a wearable so that we can also save the foot pose. And I'm going to put the texture back on it. So back in here, is my texture still in my, so that becomes white. I am looking for valley heels. Nope, Daz has already lost the texture. We'll just drag and drop it. We can do that. Drag and drop. Try that again. Come on. There we go. All right, save as a figure prop asset. This way I'm saving the updated geometry. Because we updated the geometry, so we need to do that. 80s Valley High Heels Genesis 8 female. Save that. Already exists. You want to replace it? Yes, please. Is this all good? I think this is all good. I'm
I'm going to accept that. I should have taken the toes off, but it doesn't make any difference. We're gonna remove the individual toes that are in the shoes that we don't need. So I'm gonna make this unselectable so I don't accidentally click on that while I'm working. And then I gotta make that selectable. And oh, you don't have individual toes. You just say toes and toes. Oh, so we're good. So I'm gonna just save this as a wardrobe item. I think the Genesis 9 version has extra toes that I have to delete, but not this one. So I'm going to save that here as a wearable preset. So we have to select Genesis 8. Click over here, wearable preset. We're going to overwrite that. Say yes. Yep, I know. And then what we're going to come over here to pose. And we're just going to save the current foot pose. So I'm going to select that. Too high. There we go. And that, this way when you load the shoes, the feet get posed. Okay, now I just need thumbnails for these, and these are pretty much done. I might, let's take a quick look at the shapes I need for this. We'll just run through this. Generally, shoes don't require a lot of work. Maybe the heavy morph will have to be anything. So we're just dialing in on the shapes. But often I can get away with not having to touch these up for shape morphs. Sometimes the heavies need a little bit of work. So I can't tell if I'm clipping. I think I'm okay. It's a little rough right there, so I might fix that. But actually, it's pretty good. I almost never do anything for the heights. So that usually heavy's the only one, if any, I need to fix shoes with. All right. I think these shoes are looking good. I just saved them, so we're good. Let's get the rest of the outfit in here. We're going to do some texturing. I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to undo you. I'm going to update the, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to shut this down. We're going to reload things. I'm going to do something stupid and save my startup file with a Genesis in it. I'll have to remember to delete that later on. I'm going to fix my leg warmers aren't shaped just right just yet. They need a little bit of fix to it. So going to do that. Set up some textures for the rest of the outfit, and then maybe play with a vignette. We're going to work with the snowflakes that we did. Was it last week? That if you channel point redemption, by the way, new channel point redemption, snowfall, causes the snow to fall. I actually got that added in. Did I put that in the I did not, because it's not an exclamation point. There you go. Something to spend those channel points on. I should add some music too. I've been looking around for some good public domain music. And I think some of the US Army or Air Force bands have something I might be able to take. And then we play like 20 seconds of music to go with our snowfall. Yay. I'm relaunching Daz. That's right. because I'm going to touch up those leg warmers to fit the heels a little bit better. And right now, the leg warmers, the leggings, the shirt, and the cuffs are all in one figure. But at some point, I'm going to split those up into 4 separate figures. And the skirt's by itself right now. Oh, that's why we got to wait for a Genesis 8 to load in now. So here, let's reset. Let's try that again. All right, let's load you in. Let's take a look at how this is fitting the back of the... Yeah, we need to touch those up just a little bit. So select that first, the outfit, the thing that I actually want to edit in ZBrush. Then we select the other things to go into ZBrush. Then we activate this, do that. You go away. I'm gonna bring you in, go into edit, frame it up, flip it around. This outfit isn't symmetrical, so you know what, I'm going to try to do mirroring. It might work. Let's make my brush a little smaller. Let's tweak the intensities down on the brush and the smoothing brush. And X activates mirroring. And I'm just going to pull this out like so. And just pull the back of this. And that'll... And I've been looking pictures. They actually had leg warmers that ran down over the back of the high heels. So I think I'm going to go with that for now. Let's see if the other side looks good. You know what? I'm going to... Actually, no, later on, I'm probably going to pull that out a little bit further. But for right now, we're probably good. I think that's going to be fine. Let's say go Z. I'm going to update the base mesh and accept that. I want to check to see how this looks with the heels posed. Otherwise, are you clipping just a little bit, or are you just the shading? Oh, you're just the shading error. Okay. I think that's fine. Let's resave the outfit with the updated shape. Honestly, in the 80s, I probably would have made that higher, but I made this a little lower just to make sure that it stays under the skirt. In the 80s, the tights probably went up here. And honestly, my waistline on my skirt's probably a little low. It probably should have been a little higher. Anyhow, what am I doing? I'm saving this as a figure prop asset. I'm going to double check and make sure I have the right thing selected. I do. Figure prop asset. Outfit right now. At some point, this will become 4 separate pieces, but right now I'm still working together as a single piece. I think that's all good, right? Think so. I think so. And let's put the skirt on.
And let's get some textures going here. Earlier this morning, I started working on setting up the base textures in Substance. So we'll just take a quick overview of that, what I did here. So I set up different materials for basically, this is a jersey cotton for most of this stuff. This is a knit, so it has that nice ribbed pattern going through those. And then this is more of a regular cotton fabric. So that's going to be that'll give me basically my normal map, my roughness map, my metallicity map. Oh, I got to put the rivets on here, and then we can save out the metallicity map. And also what is it? Height, normal, roughness, and metallicity. This is basically what we'll get here. Then we'll add colors on top of that. And you know what? I don't need ZBrush anymore. We're going to close you. And then I can see chat and let you see those leg warmers again. Are you still there, Farrell? Oh, the texture you saw an issue with. There they are in Substance. Oh, that's them right there. Uh-oh, reboot inbound. All right, Art, take care. Yeah, I hope I can see you tonight, man. Okay. Anyhow, uh so I think this is just going to be the underlying base for everything, and then we'll just add colors on top of everything. Oh yeah, I see what the problem to me, though maybe not with most types of legging socks, the top is not the same as the rest of the sock. Usually it's bigger stitching. Yeah, I don't know. Let's say what 80s leg warmers really look like. I can fix that. Put a different 80s leg warmers. Yeah, but what does Sheen know? Well, so when I put a displacement map on here, there will be a cuff. So there is a cuff zone up in here. So I am going to put a displacement map, and it'll actually add a little bit more detail in here. Hey, now you shot that store. They do have good prices. I am going to say that. And who am I to say? I haven't bought clothes in like I can't remember. I've been probably my jeans are probably 7 years old, and I just wear them all the time. Um, it's basically the Temu of Canada, but well, we get it in the United States, and we also get Temu. Timu, I think, right? Shein is fast fashion. Um, is their heart? And I don't know. I watched a show on the evils of fast fashion, so it basically makes clothes like nearly a disposable item. Although I'm sure you wear stuff. You probably don't go through clothes every year. Some people, I mean, it makes it sound like they're so cheap. You 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 know, kids feel like they can just get an outfit for to wear once or twice, and then they end up disposing of it, and it ends up piling all up in Africa somewhere. But I do get cheap price, and it's hard not to. I mean, people are on a budget. I get that. If I'm buying clothes, I'm probably shopping at Target or Walmart. Um, Anyhow, there is going to be detailing in this. So when I add the displacement map, there'll be a seam right through here and a seam through here. So those are going to come along. You get stuff planned to keep. Exactly. Anyhow, let's do this. I've got neon colors. I've got tartans. I'm gonna add and I got punks right now. So I think we're gonna just we'll just start exporting out stuff. We'll start with orange. I think animal prints is in the way. Uh, so Control Shift E. I'm going to do this. We're doing 5-channel UDIM. Actually, you know what? I need an opacity map too. So we're going to do 6 channels. I have a preset for this. I'm going to do 6 channels and we're doing UDIMs. So I'm going to do that. Well, mine isn't going to have a wide cuff. I'm going to go with a narrow cuff. But you know, the ones on Temu don't actually have cuffs at all. Or on Shein. So this is what you see on Shein. And I don't know. Can I actually see some authentic? See, this is probably what you're thinking more of, right? You have the ribbed pattern here, you have a different net, and you have a different pattern here. I'm probably just being lazier. And honestly, that's what Shein is, right? It's the but I think it'll work. I think it'll look okay with a thin cuff. The pink one is what you were picturing. Yeah, and that has or the other. Yeah, I think that's what it is. And honestly, the leggings, I did the leg warmers was kind of almost an afterthought. I was first planning just to go with leggings, and then I'm thinking, you know what, leg warmers would probably be nice too. Although a lot of the pictures I see with heels, honestly, are just footless leggings, and they have laces. And did I save this yet? I don't know. I lost, I lost track of what I'm doing. I'm gonna export that. There we go. We're gonna pop over here to our directory. I'm gonna change this to be orange. I'm gonna just change this to say orange. Oh, actually, I'm gonna undo. No, that's right. I want that to. Yeah, I'm gonna put it back here. Orange goes back here. I want that after the, and I don't want that. I want this. And then I change this one. So, and what do we have? Okay, my naming is screwed up. We're gonna resave this. I'm gonna come back into here. I'm gonna adjust my template because the name on my template is goofy. As project, where are you getting that extra? Do I have 2 underscores in my project name or something? Let's close that file, save as Valley outfit. Oh, that looks fine. You can do 2 more for the leggings, one with footwear. Well, I don't have feet on the leggings. if if you want leggings with feet, you can buy my waitress outfit. This is basically the pantyhose from that reworked a little bit. Actually, I redid the UV mapping too. You can do 2 more for the leggings, one with footwear and one with bare feet. I'm not sure. Oh, talking about using leggings without the shoes. You can use the leggings without the shoes. That'll be an option. I mean, you can always just not use the shoes. It'll probably look a little loose. I guess I could just put a tightening morph on it to get the leg. And these are the leggings. These are the leg warmers, right? Yeah, I mean, I can just add a morph to say no shoes, and it'll just tighten it up a little bit on the heel. And I actually might add a morph that'll pull it up the leg a little bit. I don't know. That might be just a little more tricky than what I want to deal with. I'm doing something. Oh yeah, I did this Control Shift E. And somehow I'm getting 2 underscores when I'm exporting this out. And why is that? Because if I look at this, is it coming? Is it adding it in here for some reason? That looks right. That looks right. I'm doing 6 channel. Oh, maybe my 6 channel. Oh, there it is. There's my problem right there. These have got extra underscores in them. Bad, Chris. I don't know why I did that. Okay. Now let's see how this goes. I probably was thinking of actually, I wasn't thinking about doing a tightening morph, but I was thinking about having a morph that would move it up the leg a little bit. And it's not that much extra work. We have ZBrush. We have the technology. I'm going to have to make the morphs where it's not on the body anyhow, right? The hanging morphs, the on the ground morphs, that sort of stuff. Export that. Dum dum dum. All right, come back to here. That's better. Now I can start cranking these out. Orange. I'm only going to do 4 neon colors. We're going to do orange, hot pink, lime, and aqua. And then so those are going to be like the 80s neon colors. I honestly, I don't really remember people wearing those colors in the 80s, but it's what we have fond memories of. Yeah, fond false memories. That's what I have. I do remember high-waisted jeans. I remember those. Not that I was wearing them, but I remember the girls were wearing those. All right, let's cut those. Actually, we got to do these in 2 groups. Dun, 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 dun. So I need to make 2 more folders here. New folder, 80s Valley. I'm going to say outfit. And that's going to be everything but the skirt. And then over here, new folder, 80s Valley skirt. Gonna do that. Mandela effect at work. That's, yeah. I don't know. What was I wearing during the 80s? Plaid button up shirts, t shirts, boot cut jeans because bell bottoms were no longer being made. I was probably living in Reeboks. Oh, and I had old Air Force jungle boots, combat jungle boots. I used to wear those to work because you couldn't wear sneakers on the factory floor. At the rocket factory during the Cold War. Just tubes used for tops, skirts, and dresses. Yeah. And legs, right? And your leg warmers. You had cargo pants. I had a pair of nylon cargo pants that I bought for a Halloween costume. It's hammer time. All right, let's move stuff over. I'm going to drop that over to screen two where you can't see it. Oh, you know what? I'm not done yet. I need to add my rivets. I need to add rivets in here. I forgot that. Um, this isn't authentic, but I'm just going to put 3 snaps on here just because I'm lazy and that's the way it works. Actually, this whole dress is probably not really authentic. I just kind of made it up. It might be authentic, but that would be just be a fluke. It wasn't actually what I was going for. I'm going to put 3 snaps on here. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to look for my rivets. We're going to put a paint layer in here somewhere. Right about here. We'll add a paint layer. Got my brush tool. I'm going to say rivet and in here. And there's Chris's rivet brush. And I'm going to do tangent wrap. So hopefully this will pop right through. I'm going to make you a little smaller. I'm going to turn on the grid so I can kind of use that as a guide. We'll do the wireframe. Boom. Close that up. I wish I had, now that you mention it, cargo pants would be cool. Although I'm probably just going to get jeans again. Someday, if I ever buy clothes again before I die. And did you punch through? Kind of did, but not really. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put little snaps on here, and these are just going to stay as textures. And that's going to pass for my snaps. I think that'll do the trick. All right, let's do this again. Control Shift E, export. Pop back over to here. Okay, there should be, no, this is the skirt, so we won't see that rivet color. This is probably, that is the skirt. Actually, the skirt's got the rivets on it. That is all black, so we don't need that. That I'm going to keep. This becomes orange. And now I'm ready to start cranking stuff out. Did I purposely avoid making a zipper? Yes. Um, oh, okay, let's say no. I got to get rid of these, and now I can do this. And then I can do this over here. Control X. Actually, I don't need all of those. I just need these 5, these 6, and I don't actually. What color is that opacity? Why does that look gray? It's white. It's just I don't know what's going on here. So I don't need that opacity map, but I do want that opacity map. So let's grab these. They come over here to the skirt folder. Let's grab these. They come over here to the output folder. All right, let's do a quick setup in here. The idea is we're going to mix and match colors. So I'm going to get like just a bunch of basic colors going. So here I'm going to select these two, come over to surfaces, select those, make sure we have the base shader applied. I think I already did that though. So that looks good. So we'll start with the outfit. There's the height map. We got a normal map. And you know what? I'll put that over here. And we'll set this to show the extra large icons. So that, I'm in the wrong folder here. There we go. Okay, so height map goes there. Normal map goes there. Opacity, you know what? I'm going to put an opacity on here. Right there, cut out opacity. Roughness map goes into the glossy roughness channel. We don't have a metallicity map, so we're going to just dial that to 0. And then our starting color is orange. And then we'll come over here and we'll set the skirt up. So height map goes into the bump channel. Metallicity map, there is a little bit of metallic on there where our snaps are. Time to go, catch you later. Hey, thanks for popping in, Farrell. Good to see you. I hope you have a good rest of the day. I typed that wrong, didn't I? Farrell, is that it? There we go. If at first you don't succeed, type again. I gotta give Farrell a sound. What kind of sound should we add for you, Farrell? Are you still there? You need a cool sound like Charles has. Or Art. What about a kitten? All right, we'll look for a kitten. I'll try to add a kitten sound. Meow, motherfucker. Frickin' New York City cats. Am I still dropping? I think I'm still dropping things in here, aren't I? I am. I need my roughness. And I'm going to do the color. I'm totally never going to use this color for the skirt, but it's an option. All right, let's see how this is looking. Kept getting called kitten when you're younger and had to remind your ex that kittens have claws. And he made you keep your nails short. Oh, We need a displacement map still. Yeah. Let's I forgot to do that. Let's do that. What is it? It's 2:30. 3 o'clock. I'm gonna stop working on this and we're gonna start working on something else. Anyhow, yeah, let's knock out the displacement maps. So what I need to do is I need to save out my ID maps. File, I think file export texture, right? No, it's, do I have a ID UDIM? There we go. There they are. So I need these. Control X those. We're going to come over to the whip file over here. I'm going to just put those in here. I think I need to set up my texture templates, right? Templates, me, project, you are, we're going to rename you 80s Valley outfit. Do that. Let's pop over to, I need Blender to make the textures with. All right, let's activate the import. Let's go to the substance folder. Let's get this right here. And you know what? I might as well. I don't need the template for the shoes, but we do need to save one eventually, so we might as well knock that out while we're here. The heels, there we go. Let's go to UV editing. Let's save this. Export UV layout. There we go. Up, up, and over, and here, and there, and 80s Valley heels. UVs, and Daz doesn't want me to use spaces and template names, so we're going to get rid of those. And we'll say 4096 by 4096. Save that. All right, now we're going to pop over into here. Tab in. I'm going to have to do this twice. Export UV layout. Over here. I'm going to do that. This will be skirt. Export that. Okay, now we need to shift everything over just a little bit so I can export the other one out. So GX1, oops, GX minus 2, there we go. I'm going to call this one outfit. Export that. All right, we have those done. Where am I? I'm over here somewhere. There we go. Why does skirt look black? Let's try that again. Uh, Skirt still looks black. Maybe. Do I actually have to select that and then export it? That's better. All right. Let's open you up. This pleated skirt is a little complicated for UVs. I think I can probably do this. But what I need to do is I need to give it a little extra space in between the panels so I don't end up with little weird displacements going on every edge here. And let's get used to that. And new layer. Fill that. Probably good. I don't need to put displacements on here or here. I do want them right through here. Anyhow, I need another new layer in here, which will be that. Let's say new layer. So I need a black background layer in here. Put that over there. And I'm going to just tweak. I'm just going to run a little lines. Let's fill in the tops of these. Actually, let's just do a big selection and then I'll set up. Chris needs to see his UVs. There we go. That's going to work. So here, let's start. Actually, I want to do something like this, and then I'm going to tweak this with we're going to add to the selection. Like this. No. All right. I janked that up pretty good. I should probably try to do this in smaller chunks. And we're just going to add to this. Get this done. Oh, so much. It'll be worth it though. And then once I do this, I still have to then kind of do something similar for the hems. Although maybe I'll just touch that up with the paintbrush. We're getting there. These are the last. Or we're getting there for this part of it. You're getting there. You put the sultry bodysuit on the braid with the girl attached. I've already forgotten which one the sultry bodysuit was. Oh, how sad. All right, let's fill you in with white. Control F5. Oh, background color is good. Let's do. I think I'm. No, I'm doing the inner glow thing. That's right. I'm doing the inner glow. I'm going to make you a little thicker today. So that's one down. I need my ID map in here now so that I can differentiate between sections. Oh no, I can't see what I'm doing. There we go. That's not working. There we go. That's better. I had a selection going on. Actually, I've got a little bit of bleed on the green on here. I might be able to just get away with doing this. Let's try. Oh, except I gotta trim these edges. But this is a good start. Let's try this. Boop, 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 boop. Let's start with that. Let's come up here. Let's do a new layer. Let's fill that in. Okay, let's come down to, where is my, did I just fill the template in with white? I probably did. I need my template again because I accidentally lost it. Boo hoo. Boo hoo hoo. Nope, because I had a selection. It's screwing everything up. Let's try this again. That's better. Oh, so these are good. I just need to trim off the bottoms. That's right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just erase this white off the bottom here on this layer here. Is this the right layer? Yep. So I just need an erasure tool to take this stuff off. And we want to make sure that you are set to hard. And we'll make you a little smaller. And we'll kind of start there. I'm just going to, actually, I can just kind of do that. Nope. You are being a bad boy. I know there's a little spot I'm going to have to touch up a little bit more. Oops. That's probably okay. All right, we'll get them down here and get this cleaned up. I have to do this like 3 times. Now I'm in the groove. Yeah, normally displacement maps aren't this tedious. All right. I think we're on the, and then I have to, I know there's some, so there's a split in the skirt where it hooks up. So I have to kind of touch up those edges a little bit too. Oops, that didn't work out well. I think I probably hit a shift or something on that. You go there and there, there to there and there to there, there. Okay. I'm looking for these edges over here have to be set up by themselves. So this layer is good. So I'm just going to put the do double click. There's my layer style. We'll put the inner glue on those. Say okay. I'm going to hide that for just a second because I need these right here. So these edges right here need a doohickey on it as well. So I think that's good. Control D that. Do this. Do I want to just add you to here? No, I'm just going to do another layer for that. It'll just be easier that way. Okay, fill you in. And then I got to clean up this a little bit. So I'm going to come back over to U, select that, pop back over to here and delete those off. And I'm going to add just a little bit of extra white on the top of that. So that's just, I'm just going to paint that in. Oh no, my brush is weird. I'm just going to switch back to a hard round. And we're going to make you small. Hello. And I want this, nope, wrong color. So I want this just to come out past here a little bit. Maybe a little smaller. And I'll zoom in and I'll touch those up. I only have to do this in a couple of spots. So that just has to come through here. Like so. And then I'm going to put that on the other side as well. And I think, and then we'll see how this works as the displacement map. Then I have to still do the displacement map on the shirt, on the other parts, but those aren't going to be nearly as tedious as this. What am I doing? I'm doing inner glow. There we go. Nope. Inner glow. Maybe not 12. Maybe we dial these back to 8. That might do the trick. Right here, I don't want that right there. So we're just going to pull this around like so. So that extends just a little bit past. That's going to be okay because it butts up against this. So I'm going to bring that back in. I'm going to dial that one back to match what I just did here. So we'll go to 8 on those. Do the same thing over here. I'll go 8 on that. Make that visible. Hide that. Hide that. Bring in the dark background. That should work as the skirt displacement maps. We'll see how that looks. File save. Save as. This is going to go into templates. Let's save you into the WIP folder. Boom. Okay, now we're doing that. I'm going to do file save as a copy. And we'll run that down into here. And this is for the skirt. And JPEG, and I'm going to do that. And right here, we're going to say displacement. And save that. All right, so the skirt displacement is done. So it'll just add that little extra thickness. You know what? I probably want to do some sewing. I can update that. I probably wanted to do some stitching in here, is what I'm thinking. Okay, back into here. I got the skirt. We're going to come over here. Into here. Into the skirt. There's the displacement map. We'll just drop you into there. We'll set the, nope. Try that again. There we go. 0.15. Let's set you to 6. Someday I'll resave the shader with that set to 6. Okay, let's get the for the rest of the outfit. Hopefully this will go easier. So let's load the template in. Open mid, Photoshop. Actually, let's start off by a new layer. Okie dokie. This will be black. We'll put you back here. We'll do that. Invert it. New layer on that. Fill that with white. Oh, I'm filling the background, aren't I? Do that again and remember to switch this back to foreground color. Okay, and then we'll add the glow. Okay, I need the template in here now. No, I don't need the template. I need the ID map. That's what I need. Yo, Fallen Learns. Good afternoon. Nice to see you. I'm texturing a 80s inspired outfit. All right, we're going to delete all of that. Nope, I have to rasterize you first. That's right. Rasterize, then delete. Now we're good. I'm doing a displacement map right now. I do these by setting them up in Photoshop. And this is going to be the trim displacement portion of the program. And then we'll pop over into DAZ and set it up. We already have the base textures kind of set up with Substance Painter. And we're starting to export those out. So I took a quick detour to do the displacement maps. So this will highlight the trims. How are we doing? That's a clean UV. It works. It's not as efficient as it could be, but it's real easy to kind of figure out what's what on here, right? I have to admit, normally I set them up in Marvelous Designer. This one actually went into Blender because I wanted to re-UV map my my hose, my tights, my leggings. I didn't want a seam on the outside of the leggings, so I re-UV mapped that with Blender to get rid of that seam and just leave a seam on the outside here. And we have a little bit of a cuff down here. Let's grab that. I think that's good. So let's make another layer in here. And then we're going to fill that with white. Fill that with white. I think I'm hidden underneath something though. And we'll put our an inner glow on that. And then that's what's going to make for a displacement map in DAZ Studio. So I get these little creases with a displacement map is what it really does. And then the edge seams pop with this displacement map. So we're going to save you as a copy. Let's do file save as. And let's put a copy of that over in the WIP folder before I lose it. Honestly, wish you had the talent to make for Second Life. It depends on what you're motivated to do usually. It's not so much talent as maybe sometimes it's talent, but generally it's the desire to spend the time. And there's a lot of cool things I would like to do, but I just don't have the desire to spend the time to get good at it. This, on the other hand, not gonna lie, I have been steadily working with Blender for 6 years now. Daz Studio for like more than 10. Substance Painter for 4 or 5. Marvelous Designer for 3 or 4, 5. Maybe it's coming up on 5 now. So when you use that stuff on a nearly daily basis, you kind of get good with it. And I have been able to kind of have the time to do that. Now, if only I had more money. Did I export this out? I have not saved this yet. File, save as, copy. We're going to bring you over here and down here. 80s Valley outfit. This is the outfit. I'm going to save you as a JPEG. I'm going to do this and we're going to say displacement. And we're going to do that. And then we'll pop back over into here. Currently everything's orange, but we'll eventually mix and match colors. I'm going to do this, and then we're going to put our displacement map right in here. I am totally in the wrong folder. Not even close. You are 80s. There we go. There. Runtime, textures, me, 80s, outfit. There's the displacement map we just made. And we set the displacement level to 6. You've been in Daz for 5 years. Don't make assets, but yeah. I find that too. I feel like I'm getting better with every item I make. There's like a little tweak. It's like every time you do something, there's always something that gets changed just a little bit. All right, I'm going to do a test render and we're going to see how the displacement map is looking on these. I used the displacement map to give it fake thickness. Because I know how much we all love that paper thin look on clothes.
Chris, pay attention.
What was that? What was that, Charles? What? Oh, Fallen Leaves, I'm a dev. Is that what I missed? Oh, Chris, hey, Charles. You'll be hanging out for a little while tonight, but you don't have anything to share. Oh, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I totally get that, Charles. There you go. You can see the displacement map kicking in on the seams. That's what it's supposed to do. There's that little... I was talking to Farrell earlier. She's left. But I told her I was going to put a little bit of a displacement cuff on these. So, what do we got? 258. I'm going to switch over to just doing some stuff in Blender. This is in good shape. You know what? I'm going to export out a lace texture for this. I'm going to I'll do one of my plaid punks, and then we'll switch over to playing with whatchamacallit. Blender. I'm trying to do a simple vignette in Blender. That's part of the reason I was doing snowflakes. I'm gonna I want a little simple scene with some snow and maybe a little Christmas themed bench or love seat, some poles, and some simple generic shapes in the background for a winter wonderland scene. But before I do that, we're going to finish up a little bit here. Okay, so this is all good. I'm going to save, you know what? I'm going to save out these colors here. Let's do this. So we're just going to save basic color maps. And I'm going to switch you back to, I just need 6 color. It seems to be, you have big braid in your current scene. Seems to be Twitch safe, so you drop it in. Nice. Export that. Let's pop over to the export. You're going to be Lime. And I gotta go find a coconut to put this in. Lime. Okay, lime is done. Boop. Close. Hot pink. Did I put a? I did put a. I shouldn't have done that. Oh well. Let's do aqua. I think I'm going to end up with way too many materials for this, but I can't stop myself. Okay, that is done. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to add a lace to this. Let's do a, and we're just going to look at that on the opacity maps. I currently have this little Scully thing. You know what? Let's export that out. Skull fishnet. For that, I'm just going to say the opacity channel. Do I have opacity ODIM? There we go. Opacity UDIM. There we go. Export that. Hop over to here. Skull fishnet. And that's skull fishnet. Actually, I'm gonna I'm gonna fix this. This isn't naming right. That template was set up wrong. I'm gonna tweak that one. We'll come over here to the templates. Opacity UDIM. So what I need is I want project name first, then I want UDIM, then I want it to say opacity. There we go. Let's do that. And then over here, that's better. This way, this gets grouped with all the other O1s. O1s are the skirts, O2s are the rest of the outfit. Shoes are on their own map. But over here, here we go. Let's go fishnet. That's better. A little more organized. All right, I'm happy with that. Also, I'm going to do a lace. I'm going to take care of that right now. That is why I dropped in, nope, right here. I'm going to just add a fill layer. I'm going to turn you off. You're going to come over here and say lace. Lace potato chips. Lace. Over here. There is this one here. I like that one. We're going to use that. Synthetic lace. We're going to scale that. And this is primarily I'm going to use that on the leggings, but I'm going to have a map that will apply to everything just because it'll just make it easier if I change my mind and decide to do a lace top or something. Also, I'm going to have to touch up these. These are going to be laces, but I need to go up. Your middle mouse button is broken. Oh no. That's not good. I hope you can get a mouse soon. You have a backup mouse? I've got so many mice that kind of were going but aren't still dead, just floating around. My last mouse was just getting a little laggy and I swapped it out. So if something broke, I could always pull it back in until I get another one.
I don't know. For me, a mouse is something that I would order almost right away. You can't afford it, Chris. I know, but I can't work without a mouse. All right, I'm only going to use the opacity map on this, so we're just going to turn all of those off. I'm going to set that to UV projection. Let's play with the tiling on that. That didn't seem to do anything. It's because I just tiled the wrong layer. That was the right layer. I've got another one of you in here. Why do I got two of you in here? I don't need that color. I just need this. All right, now let's try this. That's better. I think I'm going to... Is that going to work for me? That might work. You know what? I might rename this as a different material zone. Now that I think about it, so I can maybe make that opaque if I want to. That's the reason why I left these cut lines in here, so I can still select that out. Anyhow, that's an opacity map. That's lace. Export that. Let's come over here. I'll just type in the word lace here. I think I'm going to try to limit my options down to lace and the skullfish net. Okay, so those are good. I'm going to cut. Nope, we got to do these in groups. This is one group right here. Control X those. They come over to here. That's the skirt. Control X those. They go over with the rest of the outfit. Right there. I'm going to drop that opacity map on the leggings right now. That'll swap out for that one. Actually, I need to leggings. We're going to do that. And that'll replace that there. Oh, I just put the Scullies on there. Where's the other one? I just put you into the displacement channel. You go into the cutout opacity channel. That's what I was looking for. All right, let's save out a texture for this. I'm just going to save one of the punky textures. So that I don't need anymore. Let's reactivate the punk layers. Let's come over here to materials so I can kind of see. I don't know. I'm probably going to save that, but I think for... I need a blacker one. Hold on. Let's get up. Take a look at these. They're in here somewhere. I think they... Was it under SEV? Something like that. SVE. That's what I'm looking for. SVE. There they are. Do I have a good... I think I'm going to use that one. Let's try you. Let's put you into here.
Oops, I missed. Let's put you into there. Let's tile that up. I think I'm going to go with that for now. Am I just doing the color? I am just doing the color. Control Shift E. Let's try that again because I think I fat fingered something. This is going to be a base color right there, and I need the UDIM version of that. Export U. Pop back over to here. I'm going to call you Punk 01. That goes over there. That gets moved in there. That gets moved in there. Let's come back over to here. Let's do the skirt. Swap that out. Let's just do some obnoxious colors for other parts. Those, I'm just going to make those black for right now. Let's make the top aqua. I'm gonna make that pink. Maybe leave those orange. I don't know. This is just kind of a start. Control R. Let's see how this is going. Getting there. Little bit of progress. Oh no, you got the skirt texture on you. Oh no, this is all skirt texture. Dough. Dough. I can tell because I can see the snaps. I also need to add it so there's a little more color variation here. So anyhow, that's enough on that for today. I'm going to put you away and we're going to play with Blender a little bit. Are you good? Let's hit save on this. So I have a whole bunch more colors to export out from here. You should be done. I don't need Blender open. Well, I do need Blender, but not this one. I think I have this. Let me see. File recent. Do I have the... No, because I was working... All right, let's do file open, and we're going to open up that snowflake file, which I think I might have called bubbles, because I was making bubbles too. Open. Don't save. Projects. I think... Oh, let's say names. I think it was a folder called bubbles, but I can't quite remember where we stuck those. Was it bubbles? There we go. Bubbles, whip, snow blend. That's what I'm looking for. This is set up with an animation, but what I think I'm going to do is I want to set this up so I kind of have these falling in the background. So we're just going to take this and so this is going to be part of that. So I'm going to export those. I'm going to kind of use this as a background in my vignette. So here, let's do that. Activate export. Boom. We'll use the DAZ preset because that says selected only. I'm going to say snowflakes. I'm going to export those out. Okay, I also want to kind of have these little tree shapes in the background, which 2019, I did a snow village. It has trees in it, so I'm just going to pirate those trees instead of making new ones. Because that's how freaking lazy I am. There it is. When I was first streaming, I did this back in 2019. I'm not even sure. How does this look? I probably have not opened that since then. What is that? 6 years ago? Almost 6 years. Do I want one? You know what? I'm going to save one with the ornaments and the star and then a version without. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these kind of simple hills in the background with these tree shapes on them. But let me take a let's F12. Is this set up to render? I think the idea was to make a render with this at some point. So F12 might give me a render. Toon trees. Oh no, I'm almost out of coffee. Okay, so I'm going to let that render for a minute. I'm going to run off and grab a club soda or something. I'll be right back. Hopefully this will make progress while I'm gone. Oh no. It's rendering bad. All right, we're not going to render this. Let's stop that. I'm just going to save out the trees as OBJs and we'll load them up into the other one. Do I have a shader? I don't know, maybe this will kind of give me an idea what color they are. Maybe not. Maybe. Oh my god, you are so slow. Arg. Okay, let's just save you. Actually, let me take a look. That's some overly complicated. You know what? Maybe I can do an append. Toon tree 12. We'll do that. I have my other version of Blender up. I have that, but I don't want this. Let's do file new. Don't save. Okay. Let's see if I can append that tree into here. File append. Um You are located in... Oh, it doesn't say which drive you're on. I think I gotta look around. Dang it, dang it. Yeah, we'll do that over here. Are you on my M drive? I think you're on the M drive. I think you're in objects. I think you're in Christmas Village. There we go. I think you were probably, that looks like the latest and greatest. And you were probably an object. And I'm looking for something that says tree 12, tune tree, tune tree, tree tune. We'll do 12 and I'll append that. There we go. All right, let's see if we can grab. I'm missing some textures in here. We'll have to replace that. Probably once upon a time I had some sort of. We'll just see what it says. Okay, anyhow, what do I got here? I'm going to turn you back to that. You are... I should maybe make a small collection out of this and save that. Do this. Then I should be able to, like, do that, right? Say M, new collection, tree with ornaments, tree tune ornaments with ornaments. Chris really can't spell, can he? Create that. Okay, so now and then I'll hit save on this. And now when I go do my append, I can look for this collection and get it in. And then I'm going to try to hunt down our missing textures. All right, let's do the append again. Append. Look at that. I'm in the right spot. I got to go back up again, though. I'm coming here, the collection, and there it is. Tune tree tunes with here, and then we'll just append that. Excellent. All right, now let's see about these missing textures. Oh, I know, it's blending. I have to try to bake that out, won't I? I can't remember how to bake with. I think I can remember how to bake with this thing. And you know what? I can probably just bake one. So I probably don't even need you. Let's go take a look at shading and see if that actually says the names of the files that I'm missing. Grass 012K. I don't know. Let's see if we can find that. Grass 01. Grass underscore 01. Grass underscore 01. You know what? I've got too many of those. Let's do another underscore in the 2K. Apparently, I got this from ambient.com somewhere. Oh, there's a CC Texture 0. There's a downloads file on the K drive. Open path. There we go. I'm going to copy these. Create a new image. Open an image. Let's try that. Let's go to... I'm going to stick this in the bubbles folder for now. Right in here. Okay, refresh that so I can see the... You're right there. Hey, Chris, you're fixing dinner, so... Alrighty. Thanks for hanging out, Charles. It should be right there. Why are you not right there? Bubbles whip. Project Bubbles. Oh, because you guys aren't in the whip folder. There we go. That's better. What am I looking for? I'm looking for the normal. Which one is that? That is a roughness map. Do I not have a roughness map for that? I actually do have a roughness map. Yep, it's right in there. Okay. There's the roughness map. That is... I don't know what that is. It's probably supposed to be the color. How did you even abbreviate like that? Open image. I don't know what untitled one was. I probably should just apply some other images to this. Rescued mouse. What a banging. Oh no. Well, hopefully it comes back to life and stays that way for a while. So you can kind of get back to work in the meantime, right? I'm just going to redo these textures. Let's go find something that I can probably use in here instead of that grass. And this where are you? Are you just a different bark? And then I'm just gonna swap out the bark for something else here. We'll just get rid of you. And is it Control A, Shift A, input? We'll just add our oh, I forget what am I looking for? Am I looking for an import? No, I'm looking for a shader. The base BDSD. What do you call that? What do they call it? Fuse? Nope, that's not it. I've kind of forgotten. Just the middle click so you can pan shift. Well, key binding is just so much slower though, isn't it? Shift A. Principled BSDF. That's what I want. Do I have my Node Wrangler installed in here yet? I don't even remember how to use Node Wrangler. Node Wrangler is installed. Does it have like little instructions? It's like Control Shift T or something. Isn't that it? Control Shift. Something with a T. Control Shift T. Add. There it is. That's exactly what I need. Let's do this. Ambient
CG, something like that. That's not what I want. That doesn't work for me. I think maybe I'll just use a grass on there again. You grass's ass. You know what? That's nice and green and generic. We'll get a 2K version of that. Did that download? That did. All right. I'm going to cut you. That is Grass 01. We're going to pop back over. We'll put that right over in here. All right, let's find a bark that we can use for the trunk. Do I have something nice and... Guess we'll go with that. Cut that. Zoom over to here. Paste. Do that. All right, let's see how the Node Wrangler will work now. Control Shift T. Was that it? Control Shift T. Control Shift T. There we go. Projects and bubbles. And whip. And I think I'm... What material? I have the bark selected. Okay. Okay, so what do we want? I don't want that. Does that come with a blend material? Yeah, but I want color. I don't want ambient occlusion. I do want the displacement. I want the normal GL, and we'll take the roughness. And we'll do that. So that kind of... Did that get set up? I don't know. Now let's swap these out for the grass that I just downloaded. Time to learn a new mouse, though. What is that? It will come back, and then it may not be fixable with some aggressive persuasion. Has several nice, but it's a combination of issues. Mmm. What are we doing? We're switching this around for that, and I think you are the normal map. You are the roughness map. You are... I think you're the color map. Maybe not. Why do you look different than that? I don't know. All right, how do I bake textures again? I have easy bake. Let me just do a quick, because I want to bake these out. And are you all on one map?
That would be really convenient, wouldn't it? UV editing. It is all on one map, so it'd be nice to be able to bake this out as a set of textures. And I haven't done this for a little while. It's been so long since I've screwed around with textures in Blender. I have no idea what I'm doing anymore. Dum, dum, dum. Here, we're gonna do this. Blender bake textures from shader nodes. Set up the material, add the image, create a texture, switch to cycles, choose bake type. Okay. I switched to cycles over here. Bake. Bake type from above surfaces. I don't know. Hold on a second. All right, I'm coming back. All right. How do we bake this? Bake. I don't know. Where do you go? Does this have a folder? Bake image textures. Did that do anything? Bake image. Bake. Bake. Do baking? Oh, it says baking textures. There it is. It's down here. Oh, I forgot how horribly slow this was. I have a baking utility that I've used, but I haven't used it in years and I forgot how to use it. You know what? I'm going to stop this job. And now it's going to take forever to cancel. We might just go with green trees. And maybe I'll just. Okay. Baking map, save to internal, to save it external. It said something and then it went away. Because of course it did. No active selective image texture node found in material green 01. You know what? I think I'm just going to export this out in a couple of exports and maybe touch up the textures elsewhere. Yeah. So I'm going to move on. Let's come over to layout. You know what? I'm just going to clean all the materials off of this and redo them or something. Here, let's do this. Let's select that. Let's make a new material called trunk. Let's assign that to that. Let's make a new material called foliage. Let's select that. Let's assign all of that to that. Tab out. Let's clear. Let's get rid of these. And I'll just go with this for right now. For simplicity's sake, let's make trunk just a generic brown color. That didn't seem to do anything. Oh, everything's foliage. That's my problem. Let's fix that. There we go. That's good. All right, export tree again. Tree. Let's get everything else that's not a tree. I only have ornaments on one side. That's because how lazy was I? Did I not? Dang it. Let's try this again. Do that. Click that off. Export those. Decorations. That's an import, damn it. That's an export. What the frick? Go back. Cancel that. What the hell did you just do? I was in here typing. I fat fingered something, didn't I? Let's pop over to Daz. You know, I don't need that open anymore. We're going to close you. Let's just see how my tree's looking. Bubbles. With tree. I should probably, when you came in with your ornaments, damn you. It's because I'm using the wrong exporter. What do my surfaces look like on the tree? Does it have separate? You know, that's going to kind of work. I'm going to re-export this again. Lone tree. This time I'm going to remember to use the preset that's selected only. That was an export. Once again, I'm going to cancel that because I think I fat fingered something. That's better. Okay, probably good. We'll put you back here. Let's go get our snowflakes in here. Snowflakes. Do that. Oh, you know what? I don't need all of this. We're just, let's bring that into here real quick and clean it up a little bit. Get rid of those. So I'm just going to grab everything that's hitting the ground and get rid of them. And you know what? I'm going to clean this off a little bit. And we're going to clean these off a little bit. And I'm just going to re-export that. And then re-import that. this is going to just be a little bit behind our stage. So I'm going to have a little stage with a seat here. And we'll probably be working on this, considering that I've only got 15 minutes next week as well. Yeah, I'm going to put a glass shader on that. And we'll put some colors on these as well. These are just going to look plasticky, so we'll put a base shader on that. Going to log off for now. Catch you later. All right, Willie, thanks for being here. We will catch you later, buddy. And again, thank you for that. Did you do the resub today? Or was it last time? I feel like it was last time, but I feel like you also did it today. Or was that Charles? No, it was Charles. You did it last time. Loki and Charles. I think it was Loki and Charles today. Surfaces, snowflakes. That was yesterday. Okay. Iray glass solid. We're going to do that. Then I'm going to select these. And we'll start off with a glossy, a shiny shader on those. No, I'm not going to do shiny. We'll do that. We'll make them green. I'm going to adjust my roughness. Where is my roughness? Glossy roughness always looks a little weird. Glossy layer weight. We'll tweak that. Let's do the trunks. We'll just make those kind of a generic brown. These are emitters. I got emitters? They're probably inside the bulbs, aren't they? These are glass. Let's put a glass on those. Yeah, there's the emitters inside the glass. And then we can just make those the various colors they're supposed to be. Glass yellow. What is material one supposed to be? Is that my star? It is. Let's put a metallic on that. And we'll make it gold. I don't know. Let's see where we are. I'll do a quick little render. I think I'm just going to have enough time to kind of block the stage out. Kind of like that. I should probably change the colors of the emitters. Right now they're just so bright and white, they're blowing everything out. And you can just see the snowflakes, which is kind of what I wanted them to look like. All right, let's stop that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and change the emitter colors. There it is, emission colors. We'll start with blue. We'll do green. do orange, purple, red, and yellow. Let's see. They still might be too bright, and then so they'll all probably look white. But we'll see if this helps. So we'll next step is to adjust the luminance. Actually, that does the trick. I like that. I can tell the different colors. We're gonna go with that. All right, dome. Yes, I would like to cancel that. All right, let's move on. Let's get a. I'm gonna set up like a stage area in here, and then I'm just gonna sculpt some bumpiness around the edges of it. And then maybe I can just knock in some simple hill shapes for the background. So let's take tree with ornaments. Hide that. Snowflakes. You know what? I should kind of maybe join all of these together so they're easier to work with, or put them in a collection. We'll put it in a collection. That way I can just hide the whole collection. And if I want to grab individual flakes, although I could always just do that in edit mode too. So let's do a Shift A. Let's do a mesh. I'm going to do a plane. We're going to scale you up. So you're going to kind of be like that. How big are you? Actually, let's do it this way. Shift A. Let's add a plane. And over here, I'm going to actually specify. That was a cube. Damn it. Part of me wants to make it a cube, actually. Part of me wants to do a cylinder, but I think I'm going to do it as a cube. So let's try that again. Shift A, mesh, cube. I'm going to set the size to be, if we say 10, if we say 7, 8, I'm going to say 8 is good. All right. I'm going to put this at, you know what? We're going to start this at 0. We're going to make this kind of like just a single step up. So it's going to be a minus 0.2. Like so. I'm going to leave the bottom on this. I'm going to crease some edges. So we're going to put a crease on that and a crease on that. I'm going to put a bunch of level of subdivision on here. So we'll put a subdivision modifier. Generate subdivision surface. So it kind of does that thing there. Probably going to make this a little bit larger. We do that, and then if I apply that, I'm actually in edit mode, aren't I? And if I apply, nope, I'm not in edit mode. Then if I apply, then we tab in. Do I want one more level of subdivision on that? Maybe. Maybe. I have an awful lot of. I'm going to clean these up. That's for darn sure. Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to leave that one right there. Get rid of the rest of these. There's probably a clever way to grab multiples of these, but I'm not that clever. All right, probably good enough. But you're all the way over there. What are you doing there? That's kind of goofy. I think I'm going to delete off the bottom for right now. Let's do that. And we'll work with this. I'm going to hide. I'm going to hide the edge. Actually, let me try something. I'm going to grid fill this. Did I not mark you? Yeah, I'm going to do this. Let's try that. I could have just done this with a cylinder. Okay, face, grid fill. Yeah, that kind of makes for a nice, neat shape. But actually, what I'm going to do is let's do a fill. And I want to do a couple of little insets. So I get a little bit of this. Then I'm going to delete that. Then I'm going to regrid fill this. And that'll give me something I think that I can work with. There we go. And Control I. I'm going to hide that. We'll popped over for sculpting. And I'm just going to pull up the edges like this. I'm going to switch the, we'll put a matte cap on or something that makes it a little easier to see what we're doing. We'll try another one. I don't like that. Ouch, ouch, ouch. It burns. It burns. There's kind of a classic sculpting look. Yeah, I think we do that. Actually, I didn't want it right there. Was that there? Yep. I think that's going to work for kind of the stage. We're coming up on 4. So I'm going to go ahead and UV map this and dump it in the DAS real quick. You know what? I'm going to do, we're going to refine the edge just a little bit. Add a couple more cuts in here. I'm not going to put anything on the bottom, I don't think. Well, maybe just a little bit. Actually, I think I will just grid fill in the bottom. No, I'm not. I do want a little bit of a bevel on the bottom, though. Let's pop over in edit mode, Alt H. So what I do want is do that and then scale. So I just have that like so. I'm going to put a little bit of a bevel on this edge. I'm going to first clear that seam. And did I not just Control B that? I did. Put a little bit of a bevel there. I'm going to mark that seam. Okay, I want to put a little bit, you know, I don't need those seams right there. Let's clear that out. And I think if I just take you down a hair, I'm going to clear that for just a second because I want to put a little bit more bevel on that. Then I want to maybe mark that seam right there. And now I'm just going to find a spot. So I'm going to mark a seam front and back. And maybe side to side, but we'll see. Let's see how this is mapping. 3AU. Unwrap. Ruh-roh. Something didn't seam through there. Oh, I know what happened. Yeah, when I selected this, it didn't go all the way around, did it? It just went quarter away. That's what happened. And I'm having a hard time selecting that. Okay. And now, what are you? You're under here. Why are you not a nice circle? But you're just not a nice circle shape, that's all. Let's try UV mapping this again. That's better. I'm going to put some cuts in here so I can, we're going to add quarter cuts here. I'm going to add little cuts in here so that this can get bigger. I think they're in there. Nope. We're going to mark over here. There. And we'll mark these. And let me see if Packmaster can organize this tighter. I can see a way to make it tighter, but let's see if Packmaster can just do this without me. That's what I was thinking it would do. So you can see how it optimized this. So this is kind of maximized. So we like that. I'm going to call this stage, and these will be edges, and this will be bottom. Actually, I'm just going to call that. Yeah. Did I just select the whole? There we go. Stage bottom. Stage edge. Stage. Stage base. Let's call it stage base. Let's do that. Is good. Back over here. Select that. I'll hit export on that. And I'm going to call you stage for right now. I think I got a snow shader and substance painter that I can probably use with that. I have to rotate that a little bit probably. So anyhow, let's load the stage into here. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, so that's going to be kind of, you see it's off, the rotation's off a little bit. I want it kind of like that so that you get these little, and then what I'm going to do is make these kind of cartoon hills in the background that we can put the trees on. And then I think I might add I might make like a little partial gazebo or something. Maybe we'll stick a North Pole in here, and I want to make a little seat that'll go into this set that you can sit on. So this is kind of what I'm thinking. So I think we're going to call it a day right about here. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Let's find somebody to raid. And we will be back tonight, 8 p.m. for the Saturday Night Social. It's an art share. It's a Discord chat. It's an old cartoon. Humdiddy, humdiddy, humdiddy. Yeah, Fallen, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Let's see. And I'm always open to raid suggestions, but I'm going to see who is on. We are first looking for art friends, and then maybe community friends, and possibly music friends. I see Taddy's on. Yo, Napsmore, good to see you. Thanks for popping in. I know we just rated Taddy the other day, I believe, but you know, Taddy's one of the good art friends. So Pika Boom. Pika Boom is a gaming. She hangs out with Chris the Crippled in the morning. That is my morning hangout. Chris the Crippled almost most of the days. Memloss is gaming. I've got to go over and say hi to Memloss. I'll probably say hi to Pika Boom. Probably going to take you all over to say hi to Taddy. I know we just rated Taddy, or did we just rate Taddy, or was I just hanging out with Taddy? We're gonna rate Taddy. Taddy's my normal Saturday raid, I think. I'm just double checking and making sure there's not another art friend on. Nope, we're gonna do that. We're gonna go say hi to the awesome sauce that is Taddy Bidet. They are playing Risk of Rain today, though. But still, we're just gonna do that. Thank you all. If you can stick around, so this is the raid is for Twitch. So if you're on Twitch and you can stick around for the raid, feel free to join us. If you're not a sub, feel free to copy that raid call. If you are a sub, you get to use the sub raid call. Hey, if you're on YouTube, I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe. That would be awesome. And then for those of us on Twitch, we're going to go over and say hi to Taddy. We will be back tonight, 8 p.m. for the Saturday Night Social, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if I don't see you then, I hope you have a good Saturday or Sunday for those of you on the happy side of the planet. And hasta la vista, baby. Actually, let me start the raid. Then we do the hasta la vista, baby. Splash raid. I'm gonna copy and paste because nobody knows how to spell bidet. There we go. Raid Taddy Bidet. There we go. Alrighty, thank you all for being here. And hasta la vista, baby.